Welcome to Two Women in Crypto, a weekly podcast birthed on a whim by two women who are excited about the cryptocurrency landscape and have a shared passion about empowering others to step into the digital, tokenized world of the future. We offer tips, tricks, and our own individual insights as to how to begin to navigate this shift. We are not financial advisors nor experts. We are just here to encourage you to look at the possibilities. So welcome to the future. You're right on time. Good morning, Andrea. How are you today?
Good morning. It's a fabulous day.
Yep.
Here in sunny New York, it's just as hot as in Florida.
Well, here we are. We are having an amazingly beautiful summer. I'm not cursing it. It's like very mellow in comparison to what we've had in years past. But every day is a beautiful day. Every day. We're just talking a little bit about just waking up to the gloriousness, even within the waves of the world. Here we are in the upright position, enjoying a beautiful cup of coffee, nectar of the gods. It's a good day.
That's right. I love that. Nectar of the gods. Here we go. I know. Oh, my Lord. So it was really interesting. So today we're going to talk about a decentralized finance project, right? Called Meld. And it was like perfect timing, Kelly, because, here we go with Bank of America scamming all its customers again.
Yeah, they definitely are getting, penalized for it. But I remember when that was happening, I used to be a Bank of America account holder. And I remember, a couple of times where I got double dinged on not having enough funds in my account or whatever. And they were $35 each. It's like, whoa, wait, what's going on here? One of those things. So yeah. And there's a lot of layers to what they were doing in opening accounts without people's authorization. And anyway, so it's great because that happened quite a while ago. It's taken a while for them to finally, deliver their punishment, if you will, or their ruling.
Yeah. So, I mean, because it's usually Wells Fargo. They do a lot of the shenanigans stuff too. So, Bank of America was fined $150 million and $80.4 million is going back to customers.
Yep.
So I have a Bank of America account, so we'll see. And the same thing with like with their credit card, you have like a rewards program, and they were gypping people like out of their rewards and all of the fees, like all of these like bogus fees. I mean, over $80 million they're like squandering out of their customers. And we are continuously supposed to trust these traditional financial banking systems, right? Because they know it's best for us.
Right.
Like this is the best we can do.
Well, I think we walk blindly into it. And again, if we're not asking questions, we're just standing in line and being told what to do. And so it's, for the majority of the population, they're just staying in line, right? And not asking the hard questions. And so these institutions, I think we're going to continue to see getting called on the carpet for their wrongdoings. And so it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
And what kind of pressure do like the traditional banking systems put on their employees, to open up credit card accounts? Because here we go, like this is fraud. And this is like, it's very interesting that they're like yelling at cryptocurrency companies, but yet, banks like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Deutsche Bank, Credit Suisse, JP Morgan, over and over and over again, they participate in scamming people out of money, manipulating markets, and point blank, so much fraud in the banking industry. So what is going to solve this problem, Kelly?
Well, I would say that there's probably some opportunities for some decentralized banking.
Well, and here we go. Here's the solution to the centralized financial system.
Right. Absolutely.
And it goes back to one of the first podcasts that we did back in our earlier days. We talked about open banking systems. And now, it's kind of like, it's called a neobank, right? A new bank. Some people call it millennial banking, right? Because people like us, we do our banking, you know, like we'll still go to the bank on occasion, and even the older generation, like my parents, are always going to the bank, to take their money out, to put their money in. They go and they talk to the people. So a neobank is an online bank, right? So there's no structure, hardly any employees. So if you work for a bank, start to think about this, because when we go completely digital, all of the banking is going to be done online on an app on your phone. And I know there's like a Bank of America and stuff like that app on your phone, but do you trust these like traditional banking systems with all of the fees, whether they're hidden or not? We know for sure that they're not transparent,
Right.
right? So we need transparent banking, and these neobanks are going to be providing part of the solution.
Well, and for a couple of years now, one of the businesses that I'm involved in, we've been using a bank called Tide, which is exactly that. It is just an application that you use, and I mean, it's worked very, very well for our needs. So without having to go to a bank and set up with all this identification and everything else, we're not doing anything out of context, in terms of legalities or anything like that, but it was just a really simple solution for what we needed in the moment. So, yep, lots of
Yeah,
options.
yeah. I mean, that's great, and it's always fun to kind of get into some of these banking systems early, because, you usually get paid like higher interest and things like that. And again, like what Kelly and I are about to talk about today, we are not financial advisors. This is very speculative, right? We're looking at emerging projects that could disrupt the banking system. And I don't think all of these projects will make it, but I also don't think that 4,100 banks are going to be standing at the end of the transition into the new financial paradigm.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've got your banks, which we've been talking about, obviously, with the failures, but then you've got your credit unions and your small regional offices and things like that. So, yeah, it's the more technologically savvy the world becomes, which is extraordinarily quick, everything's done through the phone, and we don't need to have the branches, and we don't need to have all those options. We just don't.
Right. So that the cost of overhead is going to go away, right? That high cost of employees is going to go away. And we'll probably see like the 4,100 banks do a lot of mergers, acquisitions, and some of them may just fall to the wayside. So, we're going to be keeping an eye on this. But, when I've been watching this project called Meld, right? Because like as trust dwindles, which it is, what is going to be the solution to this? And I was listening to Ken Olling. He was the founder of this project called Meld.
Mhm.
And basically it's like a lending and borrowing protocol, right? Built on the, it's on the blockchain, and similar to Aave, right? So lending, borrowing, your crypto to fiat, things like that. And you can actually have a non-custodial environment, right? So you are your own bank, but at the same time, you can lend your crypto out and earn yield. And if you want to borrow against your crypto, you absolutely can, and pay yourself back. And it's fascinating because all of the elites, the governments, accredited investors, institutions, this is how they already do their banking.
Right.
So the beautiful thing about the blockchain and building applications on top of the blockchain like Meld is you're democratizing the banking system so that the average person now can put their tokens up for, and people you're actually, and other people are borrowing your tokens, and we're going to create this beautiful ecosystem where we can actually earn the yield. And I'm not talking 0.5%.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know Meld is one and you're going to do a deep dive on there, but there's quite a few others as well that are trying to make their way. So it's interesting. And you mentioned Meld a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. And the reason, right, the reason I've been watching this project is one of the things I love about Meld, it's like, it's not just like with Aave, it's built on Ethereum. The beautiful thing about Meld is they built it on Avalanche, connecting to Cardano, connecting to Ethereum. So you have a multi-chain banking application that is going to be coming out with credit cards or not credit cards, debit cards, right? No more credit cards, right?
Right.
Because credit, when you are borrowing and you think about how many people have so much debt on their credit cards. So in the new banking system, they don't want that, right? This isn't like, it's not sustainable.
Right.
So no credit cards, but you have a debit card. And looking at the timeline of Meld and looking at the timeline with Aave, and I know I've mentioned this again, like a long time ago. We were probably talking about Meld and I brought up Aave. I followed Aave back in 2020, right?
Yes, tell the little story about your little whiteboard and
Right.
kind of what you did. So
So
this is wild because she keeps all of her crypto, her projects on this like
I'm old,
whiteboard.
I'm old school.
I love it. I love it.
So, so I have this whiteboard and I wrote Aave, Aave, so for people that want to look it up, right? So I have Aave on the board and it was 52 cents. And I had all these stars next to it. 4 months later, wait, I think I wrote down exactly how much it was because it was like unbelievable. It's like so much fun. And this goes to show you can't win them all. There's so many projects out there, it's kind of overwhelming,
Um,
right?
yeah, it's extraordinarily overwhelming. And it's like,
Right,
oh my gosh, there's a great new project. Let me write this one. Right. There's a
right.
lot.
Yeah. So October 2020, Meld was 52 cents. February 2020, 4 months later, this is the power of crypto. $490. You went from 52 cents
Yeah.
to $490. So for me, I'm going to speculate and I'm going to pick up some Meld. And I already did. But the reason being is I still think about Aave a lot, right? Because that literally could have like changed my life and all the people around me if I bought this at 52
Yeah.
cents, you know? And it's a really fascinating project. And some of these like earlier projects, when you're dealing with banking, over collateralization of loans and things like that, you can get liquidated if the market goes down. And because we're so early, I want to learn about a lot of these projects, not so much participate in them.
Right. Sure. Well, I mean, we can't participate in all of them. We
Right,
don't
right.
have the wherewithal to do that. So
Yeah. And when I do participate in like staking my coins and things like that, like I kind of stay away from like the yield farming and some of that other stuff because it's just, high risk, high reward, but it's a little too risky for me.
yeah, I think you need to know what your, excuse me, your pain threshold is, if you will, or what your risk tolerance is. And it's really important to have a good grasp of that for yourself and what you're willing to lose, honestly.
Exactly. And that's the thing, like projects like this, Cal, only invest what you're willing to lose.
Right. And none of this is financial advice. We are just having conversations and mentioning projects that you might be interested in learning more about. So,
Yeah, yeah. And it's fun. It's like for us, it's like super fun to learn about. And we're the cutting edge, right? We're always like a little bit earlier than everybody else getting into some of these new projects,
yep.
right? Like you're into Pulse Chain and that ecosystem. And, I got a little bit into Ethereum early stages. I got into Cardano early stages. And, it's amazing when you can buy something at pennies on the dollar and watch it go to a couple bucks. You know, it's like you get a little teary-eyed with joy when that happens. And it does happen. So have patience.
It does happen. And then you need to be prepared to take your profits off the table. It's all about discovering where you're ready to take money off, get your investments out. So, and it's all a learning curve. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's always a good time to take profits when the market is going up. And as we get closer and closer to that Bitcoin halving, you know, we want to make sure that we are prepared mentally, because we're not traders, we're investors. But even as investors, you want to take profits, because going through a couple cycles with crypto, you do see the bull market, and then it crashes, and then you're like, whoa, I should have took more profits.
Yeah.
And everyone in crypto says the same thing over and over again. I should have took more profits.
All of it. Or I should have
All of
been,
it.
wish I woulda, coulda. That's what it is. I wish I woulda, coulda.
Yep, yep. But you know, I love Meld, and you can actually go, I think I sent you the website. So the website will be in the description.
Mhm.
So I was taking a look at their roadmap, and let me see my notes here. So at the end of this year, Meld is going to go live, right, with their lending and borrowing protocol. So probably by, you know, sometime in December, they're going to launch their lending and borrowing protocol. You can actually go to Meld Finance, and you know, if you live in America, of course you can't participate in the airdrop that's coming, because Meld said it's too dangerous. That's exactly what the founder said. It's too dangerous to allow Americans to participate, because we don't have regulation, and we have, like, you know, Gary Gensler from the Securities Exchange Commission, you know, just dropping, you know, enforcement, right, lawsuit. Hey, we're going to sue you if you do this. So they're blocking us from growing our wealth during this time. But I kept trying and trying and trying, and then I started listening to a bunch of videos while I was researching, and I was like, oh, okay, that's why I can't do it, because they want your telephone number, and boom, they know I live in America and I can't participate in this, but we can buy the coin.
Right. You just can't participate in the infrastructure, the process, but you can.
Right, you can't participate in the airdrop.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You know, so, and again, I know you have a VPN. I don't do any of that stuff. You know, like,
Yeah.
you know, Kelly and I toe the line, but we toe the line legally, right? So, because you're really not supposed to do that. And there's so many projects, so we can follow the rules, but we can also push the envelope, you know, which we do because we're in crypto. Let's just face it.
Yeah. I mean, we do in a good way. I'm
Yeah,
willing to step out.
absolutely.
I mean, we always talk about stepping out of line, and it's not like we're doing anything horrible by any stretch of imagination, but there's such an opportunity there.
Right, right. I mean, and you know, again, it's like when I look at Aave and I'm looking at Meld. So Meld right now, I haven't checked this morning, but I checked yesterday. It's 2 cents. So it's 2 cents for a multi-chain lending and borrowing platform that the beta, so that's like kind of like their testing application, is going live next month in August.
I am not a
And then,
Meld, full disclosure. I'll have to take a peek.
yeah, take a peek. And again, it's just like, so what I did, you know, like I've been staking my Cardano for a really long time. I took all of my rewards, and then I sent them to my NAMI wallet, N as in Nancy, AMI. So if
Yep.
you want to participate in Meld, it's not like you could go to Coinbase or Uphold and buy it, right? This is something that's up and coming, you know. So I had a NAMI wallet because I did the Cardano Summit a couple years ago, remember? And they sent me that really cool like Tree of Life NFT. That's the only NFT I own, but it's really cute.
It's really cool. It's really pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's like super pretty. So I had that Nami wallet. So I sent my Cardano to my Nami wallet, which is just like MetaMask, right, Kel? There's no difference.
Right.
And then so Cardano, and we've been talking about Cardano for a long time now, they're building out their ecosystems and they have decentralized exchanges like Sunday Swap. Now they have MinSwap, which is so easy to use. So you go to MinSwap, you connect it to your Nami wallet, and then you swap your Cardano for your Meld tokens.
Got it. Yep.
And that's it. You're done, right? And if you need help, just reach out. We'll totally get you hooked up if you're really interested, you know, and you know, because we could ride the wave on this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something to certainly look at for sure. Yep.
Yeah,
I will do my own, I'll be doing some research around it this weekend.
yeah, awesome. Because you can also buy it on Bitrue, Mexi, which is like, you know, those are some of the other exchanges where you don't have to connect your wallet. But I always like to diversify,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we definitely don't want to keep any of our coins on any exchange right now.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not a good idea. And we talked about this last time. I'm doing a little bit of staking. Am I? I think with my Cardano, but that's it. That's the only thing that I'm staking.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm just doing a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of maybe taking some of my staking off too. Um, so I've been looking into a lot of times when I was thinking about it. So Cardano, we stake our Cardano, and the guy who has the node, right? His name is Rob from Digital Asset News, and I love him. So I want to support what he's doing because he does so many good things for the crypto community. So I want to stake my Cardano on his node, which is hosted by Microsoft Azure, right? So it's a cloud hosting service,
Mm-hmm.
very centralized, Kelly.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I look at Hedera Hashgraph and Ethereum, all of their cloud services are so centralized.
Right. Absolutely.
So, my cousin Matt, shout out to Matt, he actually sent me a message and he was like, hey, look into this Flux network. And I'm like, what the heck is a Flux network? So I wind up doing a deep dive on that yesterday. And that is a decentralized cloud service provider,
Flux.
Flux. So maybe we can do like a deeper dive next week. But like I was like, okay, because that kind of makes sense. Because if you think about, and again, I'm still kind of waiting for 99% of these projects to go away, right? Because that's what they kept telling us. And
For the
I don't,
fall. Yeah. I think
right. So could it fall because all of the cloud service providers are centralized? And I heard Larry Fink talk, week or two ago saying the projects that are going to make it are decentralized.
Huh.
So we're going to find out who is centralized and who is decentralized, I think, in the next couple of years, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think that we'll have a great deal of clarity as far as the process. But in order, I think, for those decentralized applications to work, people need to continue to come into their understanding of what's taking place and put their support behind those systems.
And I think that they will, because it's like, when, even like, Ro and I, we've been traveling, we've been on the road, and like, we're talking to people. And, when people lose their money or lose their access to their money, they will learn very quickly that there is a new way. And the other thing is too, like, institutions and governments are steering the ship for decentralized finance. I mean, this is their game plan.
Right.
So, when you can get over the FUD and the blatant lies that crypto is a scam, Bitcoin's going to zero, all of these things, we're still here. The ecosystem is growing. It's getting stronger. Our banking systems are changing. And only like the people like us who are willing to step out of line, take that chance and look at some of these projects and be like, could this be the future of banking? Could this work? Because when I look at Meld, it is the first DeFi project that is on multiple blockchains, not just one.
Right. I mean, you look at the Pulse system. I mean, it's the Pulse network. Liquid Loans is coming out on Pulse, which will allow you the same type of thing. But there's also there's two other systems. I think it's Reef Financial. Are you familiar with them? And
Mm-mm.
Salt.
I've heard of Salt, but I'm not familiar with either of them.
Yeah, and I think Salt specifically is a decentralized. I don't recall about Reef, but yeah, those are other options as well. But we haven't done a deep dive on either one of those.
Yeah, and I feel like, like Ethereum has its banking DeFi system, right? Same thing with Cardano and Avalanche and Cosmos and Algorand. So like, we're going to see, we're building the new banking infrastructure, and then we're going to see who's going to win.
Right.
And sometimes when these projects win, they win really big, like Aave. Like Aave in the bull market hit over $600. Today it's $75. So, we look at these things, and at the same time, these projects, when they first start, they're always pennies. They always start off small, and then as they keep building and building and become more and more adopted, the money flows in. And during a bear market, we always say this, the money doesn't flow in. Same thing with XRP. The money's not flowing into XRP, but when it does, we'll see it pop. And I'm kind of thinking the same similar thing is going to happen, with Meld. And again, people are definitely losing their trust in the banking system. We've already had bank runs. I believe there's going to be more, especially if the Fed raises interest rates one or two more times. Then they gave all these banks during COVID free money, 0% interest. And now it's like, oh, 5.5%.
Right.
And the banks, we don't have any money, even though that's their job. Right.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. We still have a lot more to see tumble.
Yeah, I definitely think that. But and one of the things again, it's like I love Meld and I love the concept of Aave, because most of the time it's accredited investors in Wall Street that do this. And now we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes I think about, well, the only way you can increase your wealth if you have a regular 9 to 5 job is through investments, right?
Well, it is, and absolutely. And those that can take the time and kind of lean into some options. But yeah, it's the 9 to 5 is the primary focus for most people today for years. I mean, that's just what we've been conditioned to do. The little
Yeah.
worker bees we are.
Right. Little worker. And I look at it like my brother, he's like, he gets up 6:30 in the morning. He goes to work. He's got a 14-year-old son. He has no idea about cryptocurrency.
Sure.
He has
No.
no idea about anything that's going on in the world. And it's like, I think that's right. That's like probably 99% of the population.
Oh, sure, for sure. I mean, I think for the majority of people, they're just doing whatever they can to go through their day, and hopefully they're finding joy throughout the process. But that's it for sure. They come home and they do their commitments and their responsibilities and move on to the next thing. So
Right. And most people trust these systems, right? Like if my car breaks down and I take it to the mechanic, I'm trusting that the mechanic is going to fix my car. I'm not a mechanic, right? So it's the same thing. Like when I put my money in the bank, I'm trusting that the bank is going to do the right thing. They're not going to open multiple credit cards in my name.
go fathom. Right, right.
Right. But this is what they're doing. But like when the domino effect comes in, right? Because like we have all of these things where, we're like $31 trillion in debt. And, like we don't have any money. And we've weaponized like our trading system, like the SWIFT system. So now BRICS is growing. I think it's up to I think like 30 or 40 countries want to join the BRICS nations for their trading.
Right.
So
And that's
as
going to
we
be a slow, it's going to be a slow process. All these people are lining up and slowly the hegemony of the US dollar in time as these nations continue to come together over the next
Uh,
10 years or so. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And we don't, I hope it takes 10 years. We don't want these things to happen super quickly.
No.
But, if they get Saudi Arabia, like they had that big meeting in August, and they're going to make that announcement that, hey, we're going to do our own currency backed by gold, which is why we hold gold, physical gold in our house. Because what happens when you have like a multitude of nations that are now trading in their own currency backed by gold? What is going to happen to the price of gold?
Oh my goodness. Of course, it's going to continue to skyrocket up.
Right.
It's a great investment.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, and these are all the things. And as the banking systems fail, we want to learn about other banking systems, right? Because what's going to happen is these fintech companies, right, like a Meld, can maybe partner with a traditional banking company just because they're already regulated, even though that doesn't really mean anything because they do so many scams on us all the time, but we're still in this like centralized financial system, right? So we need to follow by their rules for now. It needs to be regulated. It needs to have a license. And I think we're going to see a lot of these fintech companies partner, with traditional banking systems, like you were talking about with Reef. I know Revolut is like one of the bigger, I think it might be the biggest neobank, worth over, I think 33 billion right now,
Wow.
150 million transactions per month. Like this is like a real thing that I don't even really know about it that much, right? But like this is going to be growing and growing and growing and growing. And it makes me excited. I get a little nervous because of customer service, right? So like
Well, that's the big thing. I mean, when
right.
we have had situations when with our account was tied, it's not like you can call and have somebody help you. You really have to go through this process and, scan the QR code, get access this way. This is how you view your account. And it's like, huh. So that, I mean, at first that was something that really made us scratch our chin, but we've had no problems. But yeah, it is a different way to bank for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you like it better than like a traditional banking system?
You know what? In all honestly, I don't have to go into the bank that often, like we spoke of. I mean, everything is direct deposit and or you scan. If you get money, you scan it, that type of thing. I don't really have to go into a bank that often. There was a period of time that I was going in very consistently. But I don't put a lot of my funds into the bank. I keep a lot of cash. So
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. And I think like especially like as they transition us away from like these traditional banking systems, if you think about like the fees that are incorporated in our current banking system, a lot of them are going to fall away
Mhm.
because and the beauty of the blockchain is it's all transparent.
Right.
And I think that transparency is going to build trust in the new banking sector, whereas like a JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they're not transparent at all. No one is going to trust these banking systems and everyone is going to move over. And of course, for the higher yield and things like that. And the fact that it's decentralized, completely transparent on the blockchain, we won't have to worry about like another Celsius and Voyager and BlockFi and because they were doing everything that Bank of America and JP Morgan does. They were no different. They
Absolutely.
over leveraged all of our money. Right.
Yep.
And these neobanks are going to make all of their money on fees. And that's it. You know, they're not like over leveraging themselves and, you know, participating and that kind of stuff anymore. So all of that's going to fall away to the wayside.
Yeah.
So it's pretty exciting, you know, and I'm trying to think what else here. And again, it's like when I think about, okay, how can I earn passive income? You know, it's like think if you were like, okay, I have a quarter of a Bitcoin and you're listening to Two Women in Crypto and you're dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, and you get to a point where like, I have a whole Bitcoin, and Bitcoin goes to 250 grand, and you're like, whoa, I'm going to loan this out and I'm going to make some yield, some passive income. And that's how you create passive income. So no matter you go about your day and you're like, I'm earning yield on my Bitcoin, my Ethereum, my Pulse chain, my Cardano, and it adds up, and it really is going to allow people to have financial freedom that they've never had before.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's super exciting.
Yeah. And this is like part of that transfer of wealth that we always talk about, you know?
Yeah, and the time to consider buying would be when the markets are down, not when the markets are screaming at a top. So it is still we're still very early. We're still very early in the whole process.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what's going to happen is like, you know, right now, like Bitcoin's about 31 grand. When Bitcoin goes to 50 grand, our phones are going to blow up. Hey, I want to get some
It's
Bitcoin.
time. Yeah, it's time. That's what happens. People right now, there's so much fear mongering that people are avoiding it because they think it's unsafe. But that's okay. What everybody's got their journey. It's all good. It's all good. Got to do what feels right for you. We just
Yeah, I
encourage you to
mean,
look at it now.
yeah, it's not for everybody, you
No.
know, and I totally get that. I totally get that. But, you know, like we're just encouraging everyone to do research, right? Because we see it
Yeah.
and we're researching it. And like, I can just see the future, and it's decentralized, right? I mean, we're going to go through this bumpy like transition, but once we can reach that decentralized, you know, point of our lives, it's going to be so much better. Everything is transparent. It's trustless because you can verify on the blockchain.
Right. Exactly.
And I love that. I absolutely love that. And I
Absolutely.
love earning yield. I mean, I took all my staking rewards from Cardano, right? Every 5 days, I earn ADA by staking it, and you're compounding interest every 5 days. Pull that off, put it into, you know, Meld.
Yeah.
Done, right?
Yeah.
No fee involved. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
It is very cool.
You know, and the other thing that, you know, I just wanted to mention about Meld is like, so it is the first non-custodial DeFi project. So
Okay.
you are your own bank. So there was a lot of issues with Ledger, right? Because Ledger is like, hey, you know, we'll hold your seed phrase for you in 3 different areas in 3 different countries, but it's all, you know, centralized. So what Mel did was like, you know, they encrypt your keys, but they have no access to them, and they have no access to your keys, so it's all encrypted and secure, and you know, so it's completely different kind of like model. And I'm sure Ledger is going to probably do the same thing because I think they learned their lesson.
Oh, I think they did. I think that a lot of people dropped after that announcement. Yeah, for sure. I know I did.
All right, cool. Let's see, trying to see here if I have anything else. I think that's it. But yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye on that Flux too, because I was very interested in that project. And all the different, you know, I think there's like over 11,000 nodes already on that Flux network, you know, to keep it really decentralized and secure for that Google Cloud storage. And I also want to look and see, I want to do a deeper dive. I might be wrong, but I think they partnered with NVIDIA, which is an AI
Mhm.
company that
Yep.
is obviously like blown up, right?
Right.
We get it. So I'm going to do a deeper dive on that because, man, I think that's about 50 cents or 40 cents as well.
Well, I wouldn't
That
be surprised. Man, I wish I would have been on that NVIDIA train at the early stages, but hey, that's been a great project to watch.
right. And it's like you can't pick them all, you
You can't.
know.
Yeah.
But like, you look at Coinbase, right? And you're like, okay, so when Coinbase first IPO'd, it was a couple $100, and then it dropped, and then they got sued by the SEC. But now we're looking at, okay, BlackRock's like, look, we're going to use Coinbase to custody our Bitcoin ETF, and we're also going to use Coinbase to as surveillance, right? So they know KYC, all that stuff. And okay, so how many more companies are going to use Coinbase for their custodial services?
Yeah,
And look at the price of Coinbase. It's going up, up, up,
of course.
and that could be a company that will blow up, right? In a good way, in the next bull cycle, just based on adoption.
Well, and I think Coinbase was selected as a chosen one early on. And even with the SEC lawsuit, it was just a process that they needed to go through for whatever reason, to create some more instability and fear, perhaps. So they could create other exchanges, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I completely agree. Coinbase would be something to really look at in terms of
Yeah,
stock as well, for sure.
not financial advice,
None of it is. None of it
right?
is. Yeah,
But you can follow that logic, right?
absolutely.
Yeah, like Coinbase was $300-400, and now it's like, I don't know, I forget what it is, like $70 or something. And you just want, and even if you don't buy it, it's a good learning opportunity to be like, oh wow, like as all of these companies came in and put their cryptocurrency, in the custodial portion of Coinbase, that really helped Coinbase go back up to a couple $100 a share.
Sure.
So, you know, um, definitely something to consider and think about for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all very, very exciting, which we speak to every time we get together.
I know.
As we kind of close up, a couple of public service announcements, if you will. We have our Q&A on the 29th of July. We'd love to have you join us. It's $10. We spent about an hour and a half together. We have a great little community. All kinds of topics are touched on, but of course we focus on what's happening in the blockchain world and cryptocurrency. So yep, you're welcome. And then another just kind of side note, just be really cautious out there, folks. There's been a lot of scamming going on again. These guys, I don't know how they do it, but they are sneaky little devils. And for some reason, they catch us at an opportune time, and we're not necessarily thinking through what feels like truth and what isn't. Or they attach to a fear mongering of what if I lose I mean, it's just crazy what these people do. So just be mindful of emails that are coming to you, calls from a supposed bank, anything like that. Question everything when it comes to your finances. So there's
Yeah.
just unfortunate things that happen for people, and we don't want to see anybody get scammed, lose their money. I mean, some of these people just do some horrible, horrible things, and it's difficult to trace these people that are doing these things. When you send somebody cryptocurrency, you're not getting it back. You're not getting it back. So just be really cautious out there. Safety, 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 always on all fronts in terms of technology, financially, personally, everything. It's a big deal.
Yeah. And if you have any doubt, just reach out to us, right? We're here to support you because, we're here to help you grow your money and not get scammed out of it. So thanks for bringing that up. Because, yeah, I saw that posted in our private group on Telegram.
Yeah, just an unfortunate story, but and there's many of them and they're so quick. So don't click on links in your computers. I mean, just be really careful because, there's malware out there, and once they get a hold of it, they can just do some horrible things. So just be mindful.
No, absolutely.
Safety, safety. We want you all to be wealthy beyond imagination, both spiritually, mentally, physically, everything. So yeah, it's really important.
Awesome. Yeah. And if you have any questions, just like, join one of our Q&As, like come and check us out. Bring any question at all. So, we definitely want to support as many people as we can, like while we go through this transition, because it is overwhelming. There's a ton of projects and so many scams out there, so many YouTubers, the fear, the XRP is going to $589. Like it's not like, just keep things, like just reach out, right? Because people want you to click on their video, and like get your money. So, we got to do this together, like in a kind, loving way, and like just,
Yeah, absolutely. And be in flow. Be in flow
yeah,
with it. It's all good. It's all good stuff.
love it. I love it. All right. Well,
All
this
right.
was fun. I love talking about Meld.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for bringing it up. And of course, as always, doing the deep dive. I know the community, myself, of course, included in that, are always deeply appreciative. So yeah, absolutely.
All right.
All right.
All
So
right.
until next time, what do we say?
Huddle on.
Come on. Your hosts for Two Women in Crypto are Andrea Caldero and Kelly Lair. You'll find more information and details regarding the Two Women in Crypto membership, educational and informative class and event offerings, and more via their website, twowomenInCrypto.com. Both Andrea and Kelly are available for speaking events and offer private consultations focused on helping individuals navigate the future. Until next time, huddle on.